All right, everyone ready for the lecture? Because I'm gonna get into character. Okay.
I wish I could get an apple.
So, okay, we're gonna check the time for everyone here. I think we are ready to start. First of all, I'm very happy that so many people showed up to my little lecture. I did not expect this from a young Einstein. As you can see, I'm actually 20 years old in this time frame, around 20 years old. But I'm very happy so many people made it here. I'm also very happy that I had so many people actually helping out. So, if everybody could please look on the blackboard as well. If you have any questions, all right, just do the hands up emoji and I can answer it for you, yes? Okay, nice. So, the first thing we're going to talk about, yeah, is actually why so many Europeans and Americans have a so-called beef, yeah, a little Rindfleisch in German, yeah, haha. So, first topic is gonna be metric system. Further down the line, it's more about how to look down on the imperial system. But to be honest, I'm gonna show you some misconceptions about the metric system and why we don't always use it in science. Next one is gonna be my favorite, thermodynamics, because it makes you sound smart. Okay? Nah, makes. Oh my god, I wrote it way too big at first. This is how you sound smarter than you actually are. It will not help you out in real life except for actually working in a physics setting or chemistry setting. And the last one is gonna be about acids mostly and bases. But we all know what we really want. We want to know how to get rid of a body because the stupid freaking lady from the farmhouse always keeps catching us when we're trying to throw a corpse to the pigs. And we can't always kill the farmhouse ladies. No, that's not nice. That's not good. Okay. It's the very first thing about the metric system, yeah? So, oh my lord. Yes, there we go. So, it's the very first thing about the metric system. This part might be a little dry to most of you because it will involve mathematics, but I'm gonna try to keep it as simple as possible, and I'm gonna try to explain it in a way so nobody needs actual understanding of higher mathematics, because to be honest, this is very easy. If you don't understand it, this just means that I didn't explain it well. Okay, so first, what's the difference between the USA, yeah, and the continent of Europa? Europe. Okay, little example. For heights and length, you use usually feet and inches, ft and inch, and we use the meter and decimeter, centimeter, and so on. Then, for volumes, you guys use gallons, pints, and stuff. We use the good old liter. Next, we have like weight and mass. This is pounds, okay? For you Americans out here. And kilogram or gram in general for us. And the very last one, this is actually pretty important now because it will transpire to another part of the lecture, is going to be temperature. Because temperature is very tricky in science. So you guys use Fahrenheit, okay? And Europeans love to make fun of Fahrenheit because we use Celsius. We think, oh my god, Celsius, das ist viel cooler. It sounds so cool, it's so easy. At 0 degrees Celsius, water starts to freeze. At 100 Celsius, oh, I did it wrong over here. Gotta erase that, so. At 100 degrees Celsius, water starts to boil and will evaporate, okay? But what nobody ever thought about, like, oh, every science person, yeah, he uses Celsius. No, we actually don't. Nobody uses Celsius and nobody uses Fahrenheit. We use Kelvin because Kelvin has something very important, and 0 Kelvin, okay, is the absolute coldest thing that you can theoretically achieve. So 0 Kelvin is nothing anymore, okay? So it's you can't have a negative Kelvin. 0 Kelvin is the coldest. The cool part about Kelvin is though, it's proportional. That means it just like works together with Celsius, okay? So, little example right now. 0 degrees Celsius, yes, is roughly, I'm not gonna do decimal and commas and stuff, is roughly 273 Kelvin. If you work in science, you will remember this forever because you'll use it a lot while you're studying at university or college. Yeah. Cool thing is though, 10 degrees Celsius, yes, is just 10 degrees more of Kelvin. Okay? So Kelvin and Celsius are proportional, but we don't actually want Celsius. We use Kelvin most of the time, usually always, and if you don't use it, you usually just convert it to Kelvin. Okay? If you have anything else than Kelvin in science, you usually just convert it, yes? Now, what is temperature actually? Because it's a very weird concept if you think about it. We have little molecules. If you look at the chalkboard, this is what water looks like. It looks like a little Mickey Mouse on its Kopf, upside down on his head, yes? And all that's happening is all of these molecules are moving, okay, and bumping into each other. They're just moving around, bumping each other. This one goes over there and puts it over here. And the harder they move, the more they move, the hotter it gets. This concept is called Brownian movement, okay? There was this guy, or still is probably, because I don't know when this guy died, and we have 19 something here. His name was Brown, and he created that concept of Brownian movement. All it says is that you guys know that the more movement, the hotter it gets. So molecules move a lot, and it gets hotter. Okay? That's Brownian movement. So next thing, how do we actually calculate with Celsius? First of all, I'm gonna help you out with something that looks very complicated, but makes you look very smart as soon as you understand it. Even you, young fiction man. Yes, even you. So we have following concept. 10 to the power of 3. Many people don't know what to make of it, but it's very easy when you look at it, because all that says is you take the little to the power number, okay, and put this amount of zeros behind your number. So 10 to the power of 3 is 1, 0, 0, 0. It just means 1000. And negative, okay, is just the other direction. So we have 0, 0, 0, 1. And then you put the little comma right behind the first 0. So if you ever see that again and you think, bro, what a crazy science guy, I don't understand this. To the power, just 10 to the power something just means you're adding zeros, all right? This is how you can easily convert stuff, easily calculate with stuff. It just takes some time to get used to. Yeah. But at some point, you're gonna be some great mathematica. I trust in all of you. So next thing. So please remember this 10 to the power thing. I'm gonna write it down in the corner of the little chalkboard we got over here. So we have 10 to the power of 3 is 1000. Okay. Next, we're gonna think about the metric system. We have a meter. Yeah. The next smaller one is a decimeter. And the next smaller one is a centimeter. For everybody who knows a little bit about Latin, deci just means 10, centi means 100th. So this should make it easier for you to remember if you speak Latin, but nobody speaks Latin, so it's a dead language, okay? So now, how do we actually convert it? It's pretty simple. You have a meter over here. A meter is nothing but deci, means 10. 10 decimeters, okay? All you do is add 1 0, because you can imagine a little one, if you have a meter or pound, okay, whatever. You always can imagine a little power to 1, okay? It's not really there. You don't say it. You don't write it down, but you can imagine that. So we know it's a power to 1. So the next smaller thing is going to add 1 0, all right? So I'm just going to remove the little power to 1 thing. So the next step, the centimeter, will also have a power to 1. So 1 meter is 10 decimeters, and this means 100 centimeters because we just add another 0. All you're doing is add zeros. It's multiple of 10s with the metric system. Okay, pretty simple. If anybody has questions during any time, just please let me know. But I think so far we're all on the same page. So, but what do we do as soon as we have an area to calculate to the power of 2, or some people call it squared? Well, these little numbers up here are actually something that many people of you have heard about, and it's dimensions. So as soon as everybody is talking about dimensions, they're just talking about a direction. A direction, okay, is a dimension. And it sounds just fancier. This is another word for, another way to sound smarter, dimension. I think I wrote it wrong. It's like with an I. Yeah. It's just a way to sound smarter than you actually are. Instead of saying direction, you just say dimension, okay? So this means we have the first one, which is just length, okay? It's in one direction. And the second one, the number 2, means we just add another direction. And suddenly we have an area. We can put here an area, and we can calculate this as well. Now we're gonna show you, or I'm gonna show you how to convert it. So we have 1 meter squared. This is going to show us, we have a little 2, so we need to add 2 more zeros. 1 meter squared has 100 decimeters squared, okay? So what do you guys think? If anybody is brave enough, we can make this interactive. If not, I'm just gonna keep on rambling through. What do you guys think is then a centimeter? Exactly, guys. I hear you ask. What is it? Yeah?
Would it be 10,000?
Exactly, 10,000. That's the thing. You just add 2 more zeros. We have the zeros from the decimeter and 2 more zeros for the centimeter squared. And that's how it's gonna work out all the way. Now, the good part is we all live in a 3-dimensional space, okay? Everybody likes to talk about 4 dimensions, but we ourselves are 3-dimensional. So we can actually not quite experience 4 dimensions. So if we have 3 dimensions, which is cubic, we're just gonna add another direction. So we have 1 direction here. We have 1 direction here. And we have 1 direction here. It's all about directions. Dimensions, as I said, just a way to sound smart for the average person. Okay? So, and why is it called cubed? Because in these directions, you can draw a nice little cube. And suddenly it's 3-dimensional, okay? That's all it is, actually. So we're just gonna convert this one as well. So we have 1 cubic meter Whoopsie, which is, no, why don't you want to, okay, it doesn't want to erase now, which is 1,000 cubic decimeters. And also, because space is running out, we're just gonna add 3 for decimeters and more threes, like threes are saying zeros. We're gonna add 3 zeros for the decimeter and 3 zeros for the centimeter, okay? So suddenly we have 1,000,000 cubic centimeters. It sounds a lot, but it's a cubic meter is way more than you guys expect, okay? So how do we use that? Because in Europe, we use liters. The thing is, a liter is exactly 1 kilogram, okay? 1 liter is 1 kilogram. So we thought, what else weighs a kilogram? A decimeter. Also is exactly 1 liter, okay? 1 liter is 1 decimeter, but nobody actually knows that, or not nobody, but the general public, they don't care about it and they don't know. But if you're ever calculating with something, it's gonna be in meters or decimeters. So you might just see some thing said like 0.111 cubic meter, but that's a decimeter because it's smaller than the cubic meter. So you add the zeros in the front, and suddenly all of this is related. This is the basics of the metric system, okay? Like if you got this down, you can convert everything and everywhere all at once. Little reference here for my movie friends. And there's actually nothing more to it. All the metric system says is that it's derivative, so it's like proportional or comes from the meter. The meter is the main part of the metric system. It wasn't always the same. Different cities had like a standard meter, all right? And the standard meter was different for every city. So a 5-meter road, like that's 5-meter wide, a road that's 5-meter wide, is not going to be the same width as a road in a different country. Let's say France and Portugal. Portugal road could have been wider than a French road, yes, although both were 5 meters because the meter wasn't always standardized. Now it is. Now we can calculate with this nicely, and we're done with shitting on the imperial system because you can't convert that easily, but you convert the metric system. But in all honesty, in science, you don't also only use the metric system, and some people confuse SI units with metric system. Like Celsius is not metric. Liter is technically not metric. I mean, it's kind of metric, but we got a different name for it.